We're going to continue with our study of Mareh Yaakov, and every week we try to apply the skills that we've learned to Parshat Shavua. This week we read Parshat Vayikra, and rather than do a specific sentence, I thought I would deal with a specific phrase and see how it changed from korban to korban. So we have the phrase "V'chiper alav hakohen," and the kohen is going to allow forgiveness to come upon the person who is giving a chatat, who is giving a sin offering. In most of the incidents where we see this phrase, and we have lots of different korbanot based on the person's circumstance who has done a sin. So if the Kohen Gadol sins, we obviously don't have that phrase that the Kohen can't forgive himself. But asher nasiach chata, if the
who
leader,
is the Nasi though? The Nasi of the Shevet?
Yeah. If the leader of one of the tribes should have to bring one of these sacrifices in Kol Adat Yisrael Yishku, if the entire Supreme Court or the elders, if they make a mistake, and then we have the nefesh echad, and if one particular person does a chet bishgaga, a sin that is not on purpose, a sin that is unintentional, what happens to him? And then we have a variety of different levels of the way we treat that based on the means, how much money the person has, and in the majority of instances where we see the chiper alav hakohen, we see darga tivir. You see the note that tells us that the kohen, who is supposedly on a high moral level, is going to come down to the moral level of the person who has done the chet, and he's going to be with him and he's going to commiserate with him at his own level. He's not going to lord it over him that I'm holy and you're not. The chiper alav hakohen, the kohen is going to come down. We've already said that darga tivir, the darga implies coming down from a higher level to a lower level, and the tivir tells us about something that's sheltering. So the kohen is going to come down from his higher level to the level of the person who has done sin, and he's going to then allow him to see comfort in the fact that the kohen has brought himself closer to the person who's done the chet. So in the majority of the phrases where we see v'chiper alav hakohen, the majority of all of these different circumstances in which we have a chatat, a sin offering, that's usually what's happening.
Or just chatat, you said?
So we're specifically talking, because we've got chiper alav hakohen, the kohen is going to allow the person to gain forgiveness.
And that phrase is only used
that
by
phrase is
chatat?
only going to happen in the chatat. That happens for in Kol Adat Yisrael Yishku, if the entire council should happen. Asher nasiach again, the chiper alav hakohen darga tivir. But then we have the nefesh achat techeta bishgaga. If a single person does something unintentional, then we have v'chiper alav mercha tivir. So we don't have the kohen coming down from his level, because the kohen is like, in this sense, the average man who could do something unintentional. Doesn't have to come down from a higher level. He's saying that this other person who's done something accidental is just anyone, literally a nefesh, a soul.
Right.
So the kohen is on an equal level with him already, in that he still might be one of these people who does something accidentally.
That's why on the same level.
But when we go with this accidental sacrifice, there are levels of the korban, levels of the sacrifice that's brought based on the person's means. And the person who is bringing the largest sacrifice, the Kohen comes on an equal level with him. When we go to the middle level, where he's bringing a smaller offering, we get again B'chiper alav hakohen with dargat tevir. And this one I found a little difficult and a little puzzling. What's going on here in terms of the Kohen going again down from a higher level to a lower level? So we're going to come back after we do the one who brings the meal offering. Where is that? V'chiper alav hakohen al chatato asher chata. V'chiper has a tlisha ktana. So this is something that's not going to look backwards anymore. Alav hakohen for the very poorest person, kadma v'azla. It's going to be something that's literally, you're going to bring attention to it. You're going to make this something that is noteworthy. You're going to have something that is going to focus yourself on this situation and make it something that really is an occasion. Why? Because this person probably has nothing, and he still decided to take from his nothing some money to realize that the priority was to get forgiveness from God rather than perhaps to have a meal that day. So this very poor person, the chiper alav hakohen kadma v'azla, and then al chatato asher chata, on his sin which he has sinned, dargat tevir. How this person who has reached such a high level had fallen to the point, had fallen before, but now the Kohen is going to bring him back to that high level. And the only question was that person in the middle, why he still gets the dargat tevir, probably because with more effort he could have given the larger sacrifice, but he chose not to make the effort. And I'm not sure if that's the correct interpretation, but I derived that from the kadma v'azla for the very poor person, and the merchat tevir for the person who gives the highest level offering that is allowed in this circumstance. So again, v'chiper alav hakohen, and the Kohen is going to forgive him. The Kohen sacrificing some of his honor or some of his level in order to come down to the level of the other person, because ultimately to lead someone to forgiveness, you really have to commiserate with them. You have to understand how they could have come to that, because that's really the only way that the person is going to commit not to do it again. Without that full understanding, it's not likely to happen. So again, we'll see as we go through korbanot, lots of times where we'll see the same phrase come again and again and again, and when you see the pattern broken, I think we're going to have to try to use this parish to see if there is an insight that we gain on why the pattern is broken, why the pattern is different. And I guess we're not going to do tzav this year, but maybe when we do the next class after Pesach, we might just talk about tzav rather than doing Parshat Shavua, just because I want to point out similar phrase comes 3 different times with 3 different combinations of notes and the implications of that.
You should do it now.
Well, I think we've done enough, and we should go back to.
I didn't think you should do it now. I thought you did that.